Chapter 738, Adventures Adventures Adventures. Part 1, The Sociopathic Jock. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. In the Jupiter prison, Lily and Mr. Krabs were there to visit the sociopathic jock Joe. She has an old score to settle with her and to make her suffer for her ways. After Joe's athletic career was ended on Total Drama All-Stars 2 because of having her leg amputated, she has developed an incredible hatred against all of us and all of the world for ruining her life. But Joe was declared too dangerous to hang around with the other inmates. So she was placed in solitary confinement for the protection of the other prisoners. Lily and Mr. Krabs were walking down the hall. Mr. Krabs was given the ability to live on both land and in water thanks to Lily's magic. They got to the cell Joe was in and the guard saw them. Guard, oh hello Lily. Here to visit Joe? Lily, yep. We're here to correct something she said when we were on Total Drama All-Stars 2. Guard, I saw what she did on that show. That was awful she did that. Mr. Krabs, I can't believe she is that evil. I'm glad I'm being watched by Lily now. Guard, that's good Mr. Krabs. The guard opened the cell door and they went in and they saw Joe. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Her favorite type of music is workout music, her favorite color is gray, and her favorite movie is Charlie's Devils. The weirdest dream she ever has was when she let a guy win because she found the guy attractive. Her best childhood memory was the first time she was picked first during a team selection. Her most embarrassing moment at school was when she got locked out of class due to her going for a job between periods. Her first job was as an enforcer for the neighborhood kids. 10 years from now she sees herself as a personal trainer for the stars. Her dream date would be with Willie Slanks since he invented a great new workout system, bow ties. Joe never thinks the world will ever end as long as she's alive. Joe is first seen in bigger, badder, brutal yar, on the yacht, warning Scott not to bother her. She swims to shore quickly, excited to be the first one there, but then realizes that Dawn beat her and is not even wet. She wins the race that determines the teams and taunts Lightning for losing to a girl. However, she is assigned on the mutant maggots, because Lightning walks in front of her when Chris shows up. After Chef Hatchet falls off her team's trampoline reward and throws the saw at Lightning, she laughs at his injury, but is then run over by the rolling trampoline. During the start of the challenge, she seems very excited, trying to get her team pumped. She jumps on the trampoline in an attempt to reach the totems but gets launched into the lake. When riding down the mountain on her team's totem, she is annoyed when the opposing team passes her. Although she and her team reach their cabin last, they win immunity since the toxic rat's cabin was destroyed. In Truth or Laser Shark, Joe is first seen running into Brick after her morning run. She proceeds to argue with Brick about who is better until she tells him their team is lucky to have both of them. However, she reveals in a confessional she was just saying this to keep Brick loyal, implying she will break him like a stick. She then breaks one, only to receive a splinter. Before the first challenge, Joe is rather tough on Cameron, calling him weak. When he tries to rebuttal, which Joe brings up a good point on trying to win Total Drama without some physical power. During the truth challenge, she notices Brick's face turning red and tells him to admit the truth for the team. When Mike wanted to leave, she smacked him and told him she was determined to win. Before the second challenge, Joe was the first to try on the glasses and complained about the lack of visibility. She does well for her portion of the obstacle course, and her team wins the challenge. In Ice Ice Baby, she competes with Brick to see who can eat more food until he chokes on his spoon. She then saves him and later comments on Mike's various personalities. When Chris announces a race through the speakerphones, she tells everyone to begin running. After they reach their destination, she tells Cameron she would have eaten him by now if they were all hamsters. While climbing the mountain, she and Brick converse about how they became so good at rock climbing. She then taunts him when he dislocates his arm in an attempt to impress her. When Anne Maria would not do the challenge, Joe motivated her by insulting her fashion. Joe made it the top of the mountain first out of anyone, but she still lost that part of the challenge since the toxic rats got their whole team on top. Shortly afterwards, Anne-Maria made it to the top and attempted to punch Joe, but Joe moved out of the way and she ended up hitting Brick. In the second part of the challenge, Joe assumed the leadership role, after thumb wrestling Brick for it, and proceeded to order around the maggots. When Anne-Maria again refused to do the challenge, Joe threw her hairspray out of the fort, causing Anne-Maria to chase after it. In Finders Creepers, she is seen rushing out of the maggots' cabin when Chris wakes them up unexpectedly. During the challenge, she leads her team away from the rats, stating that she had a plan. She commands the maggots to hide in a bush so that they can follow the rats to the next destination, leading them to their own clue. Arriving at the marked tree, Joe suggests sending in their most expendable player in case it's a trap. Although Brick objects saying no one's expendable, Joe's win no matter what attitude keeps pushing as she sends Cameron to find the souvenir. After Cameron finds the key and Zoe disappears, Joe simply says that they should give up the search and forge ahead. Brick again objects, but Joe overpowers him, calling Brick AGI. Choke. The maggots then get the lead after Sam clears up the landmine field, which Joe thanks him for. Arriving at the graveyard, Joe comments on their arriving first and immediately sends Cameron to get the next clue. After finding it, Joe commands the team to fan out and search. When Brick falls into a dark grave, Joe pulls him out and slaps him 3 times, telling him to pull himself together. Soon after Brick disappears, Joe calls him a dead weight, causing a small fight between her and her teammates. Once Anne-Maria finds the next souvenir and boasts about it, Joe rushes her and then leads them onward, firstly commanding Mike to hide the souvenirs in the tombstone. At the final location, Joe goes on ahead when Cameron wants to find Anne-Maria and Mike. Inside the cavern, Joe easily finds the last clue, but is then captured by the mutated spider. Later, when Cameron is captured by the spider, Joe asks who it is, guessing Tan Job, Couch Potato, and Freckle Face before finding out it's Cameron, who she's surprised made it that far, which he takes as a compliment. Once Brick is freed by Mike, Svetlana, he wishes to free his teammates, but Joe orders him to win. While he beats Sam and Scott to the finish line, Joe's order costs them the victory with Brick alone versus the 2 rats. At the elimination ceremony, Brick volunteers to go home, but it turns out that Brick is the rat's reward. Chris then comments that Brick and Joe will now be competing on opposite teams. In Backstabbers Ahoy, Joe surprises Brick with her whistle and then begins to tease him. They then argue about who is the better competitor, resulting in her bragging about her running and squat thrusting skills. She then says she is whipping her team into shape, indicating she is teaching Cameron how to do push UPS. She competes against Brick in the diving challenge, doing very well. She loses air at one point until Anne-Maria saves her. However, she ends up losing when an air-filled Brick launches past her and gets his skis. In the second part of the challenge, Joe is chosen to shoot the seagull gun. She is successful in shooting the first 2 mines, but the gun stalls before Joe could shoot the final seagull, and thanks to Zoe's steering, they crash into a rock. Determined not to lose, Joe throws Cameron into the final mine, allowing the maggots to win the challenge. Joe is later shown with the other contestants blaming Dawn for stealing their post-science. At the start of Runaway Model, Joe is uninterested in fixing her hair with Zoe and Anne-Maria, and begins shaving, much to their displeasure. Later, at the challenge, she claims that fashion is a waste of time and again explains to Lightning that she is female. When Lindsay comforts Sasquatch about his hairy body issues, Joe mentions she feels his pain, then quickly covers it up. In order to rescue Lindsay, Chester applies a bit of rouge to Joe's face. Joe believes she looks beautiful and takes off to seduce Sasquatch. He laughs at her, to which she, in response, punches him across the island. The maggots win, and, upset she looks terrible, begins throwing barrels at Mike. At the elimination ceremony, she is switched with Scott and is now on the toxic rats. When Brick welcomes her to the team, she tells him it is now her team. Joe is in the confessional at the beginning of a mine is a terrible thing to waste, happy that now that she's on Team Rat she can work out in the nude. She then bothers Brick on her way over to breakfast. During the challenge, her team makes it to the mine shaft elevator first, but lightning shouts and causes a cave-in on his team. Sadly, the elevator crashes at the bottom, which forces the rats to climb down the cables. When Brick decides to go first, Joe throws him the jar of fireflies, since the maggots got the flashlights. Brick falls, but is able to slow down by using his arms. However, Joe and Lightning speeding down after him cause him to drop the jar, allowing the fireflies to escape. Joe and Lightning chase after them, leaving Brick alone. She convinces Lightning to make an alliance with her and gave up trying to convince Lightning that she is a girl. The toxic rats were captured by the mutant gophers and it was Joe that distracted them so they could escape. At the elimination ceremony both Lightning and Joe vote off Brick because they view him as a traitor to their team. Joe and Lightning decide to see who will be the leader of the toxic rats in the treasure island of Dr. McLean, but it was mostly a tactic that Joe used to make Lightning do the work. Through the challenge Joe takes the lead, leaving Lightning to bear the brunt of the challenge, including being tortured by a mutant squid and subsequently by mutant swamp animals in the hunt for Sam and former contestant Gwen, who were buried alive. Joe then used the metal detector given to them by Chris to find the keys to her and Lightning's handcuffs, and for the chest in which Sam and Gwen were imprisoned. Joe ultimately won the challenge for the toxic rats by digging out the two campers, only to be knocked out by the fully mutated Dakota, who rushed in to save Sam. In Grand Chef Auto, Joe is happy about the merge and immediately forms an alliance with Lightning. Cameron offers to be in her alliance as well, but she refuses. While looking for her key, Joe is attacked by a mutant cockroach. She then finds a key in the garbage. As the second part of the challenge begins, she and Lightning are captured by Chef. Joe quickly formulates a plan and has Lightning bend the bars with his immense strength. When he does, she pushes him to Fang, betraying him. Joe then grabs a go-kart and drives away, causing Lightning to have a grudge against her for the remainder of the game. She does not win the challenge, but is safe nonetheless. In Up Up and Away in My Pitiful Balloon, Joe is shocked to see the blimp at camp and Heather. When Chris announces the challenge, Joe asks Cameron to form an alliance with her. He accepts, however she only makes the alliance since Cameron knows how to build an aircraft because of his brains. During the challenge she makes Cameron work on her hot air balloon, saying she will protect him from elimination. She also tries to make Cameron sabotage Lightning's helicopter, although he ultimately fails. Cameron ends up winning the first part of the challenge when he finds a rocket, and she makes Cameron give her his smoke machine prize. When Heather starts escaping with the $1 million, Joe grows to like Heather due to the way she plays, however she disapproves her girlish short shorts. Once again when they are stopping Heather, Joe uses Cameron as a shield from the jummies that Heather throws at her. However Cameron double-crosses her when Lightning tells him that she is only going to betray him. Cameron reveals he hid a bomb in his smoke machine just in case and blows up her balloon. She sinks into the ocean with Fang, who got tangled on her rope, and Scott, whom her and Zoe attacked. She is later seen at the campfire where she gets the toxic marshmallow of wisdom because Cameron and Lightning voted her out. Joe said that she deserves to win total drama. She called Cameron a traitor and tries to hit him, with him replying, "I learned from the best." She then compliments him as Cameron was talking about her. She proceeds to yell at Lightning, calling him an idiot as Lightning couldn't recognize she was a girl. Joe then takes the hurl of shame. Joe then returns in the season finale Brain vs Brawn, the ultimate battle. Chris introduces her along with the rest of the eliminated cast. She doesn't seem to be too thrilled on rooting for either of the finalists, but chooses Lightning over Cameron. Joe is then seen giving Lightning advice on what to use for his armor. Later on when Chris remote malfunctions, releasing all the mutant animals, Joe hops out of her seat as she runs away from the animals. Larry eventually has her in his grasp, until Cameron blasts at him and she is released. In Lightning's ending, Joe is the only contestant who seems happy that he won. In Cameron's ending, when Cameron was on top of Lightning, she counts with the rest of the cast to 3, but she doesn't seem excited. At the end, she is seen on the boat when Cameron announces to use the money for everyone. Joe says she can use the money for her own gym. She is last seen laughing at Chris when he is quarantined by the government. Joe is one of the returning contestants in Heroes vs. Villains. After noticing the size discrepancy between her team and the opposing team, she immediately demands that Chris provides the villainous vultures with an extra member to make up for the difference. Joe volunteers to be the pusher of the baby carriage for her team, tricking Lightning by saying she was a champion shopping cart pusher. When Gwen attempts to reason with her, Joe blows her off and taunts her on her boyfriend kisser status, upsetting Gwen. During her pushing of the carriage, she tells Lightning that the two of them should stay out of each other's way till the merge, and tells Duncan that she wants to take charge, to which Duncan agrees with a laugh. He then compliments Joe on her zinger, which stuns her. She later carries Alejandro up to the top of the staircase of the spa house, where he unlocks the door with the correct key for the team's win. In Evil Dread, Joe is seen eating a plate of meat for breakfast. She then suggests to everyone that they should vote off Lightning next since he is the strongest competitor. Later, the challenge of the day was to find 3D puzzle pieces of certain places and build them. This is where Joe's conflict with Heather reaches a boiling point. They both fight for leadership. Heather ends up finding the first piece, but Joe tries to take it away from her. Heather ends up dropping the piece onto Joe's, which, Joe then pushes Heather into a trench filled with crabs. Joe eventually finds another piece, but Lightning jumps by and takes it for himself. Joe and the rest of the vultures seems to won the challenge by they are still missing a piece. Joe then gets upset over Lightning due to miscounting the pieces, which leads to their first loss. At the elimination, it was revealed that Joe convinced the other vultures to vote of Lightning, who eventually discovers Joe's betrayal, with Joe and Lighting in the bottom 2. Lighting is voted off and nearly curses at No, who watches as he takes the flush of shame. In Saving Private Leechball, Joe and Heather argued about the leadership role on their team, until Gwen told them to be quiet. The next day, Joe tried to convince Gwen to join an alliance, even though Heather and Alejandro tried to as well. During the challenge, Joe accidentally fired the leech cannon at Scott, causing her teammates to be upset with her. Later during the challenge, she was the only member of her team left standing, and she went to the cave to try to take out Courtney and Sam, but failed when she battled against Zoe. At the elimination ceremony, because of her constant bickering and firing the cannon at Scott, she was voted off her team and was last seen in the flush of shame, being flushed off the island. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. She is in one of the balloons in the final reckoning, but her balloon is not popped, and floats away with the other unpopped balloons. And now she has all her crimes in the events of the Total Drama All-Stars 2 saga. Joe, Lily Loud. Lily, hello Joe. Joe now had a brand new artificial prosthetic foot in place of the foot she lost. Lily, I see you got a new artificial foot. It's quite the improvement. Joe, it is. And when I face you all on Total Drama Galaxy, I'm going to make you wish you were never born. Lily, I have that to look forward to. We still have 9 more months though. Joe saw Mr. Krabs with her. Joe, are you kidding me? First, you throw your boss in prison. And now, you got him out. Lily, that's right. Guess we're not what you claimed us to be after all. Krabs, yet. I actually deserved to get thrown in prison before my parole. Joe, fine. So you and your boss made amends. But that stupid princess sister of yours still made Zoe Lawton fatherless. Lily, one accusation at a time. Mr. Krabs, who is she talking about? Lily, Zoe Lawton is Deadshot's daughter. Her father was Floyd Lawton aka Deadshot. We killed him when we killed the Joker and most of the Suicide Squad. Zoe hates her father for what he became. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Little is known about Deadshot's past before being an assassin. All that is known is that his real name was Floyd Lawton, and he had an abusive father he tried to kill, but unintentionally shot his brother. He has since become a crack shot, often boasting that he never misses. He initially arrived at Gotham City claiming to be a new crime fighter. He was actually planning on becoming king of Gotham's underworld, while taking out crime bosses as a superhero. Batman and Gordon exposed this plan and he was jailed. He was also a member of the Suicide Squad, a government program that uses supervillains' services on life or death mission in exchange for a pardon. This was perfect for Deadshot because he believes he has no life purpose and does not care if he lives or dies. When not working for the squad, he goes on assassination missions. On his missions he has assassinated a senator, killed a man committing crimes pretending to be Deadshot, and offering to put Count Vertigo out of his misery. He was once possessed by a demon named Naren. While controlled, Naren tried to have him kill a kindergarten class, but the Justice League stops him. He also once attempted to kill the Pope but was stopped by Wonder Woman. In 2005, Deadshot learned that he had a daughter named Zoe living in a rough neighborhood controlled by gangs. Though he decided a normal life as a father wasn't for him, instead wiping out all the local gangs. Deadshot later broke into Arkham Asylum to kill Joker on an assassination mission, but was stopped and nearly killed by another assassin named Onomatopoeia. He informs Batman what had happened and was sent back to jail. After being caught yet again, he returns to the government-operated Suicide Squad. Mr. Krabs, that's terrible lass. Lily, yet. But Joe, Floyd was a monster. He killed hundreds of innocent people and he had no right to call himself a father. He was a cold-blooded, ruthless snake. Like you. Joe, hey. At least I don't go around killing people for crimes they do. Slash. Lily slashed Joe's face with cloth she made of pure water she formed on her fingertips and she slashed out Joe's eyes. Joe was screaming in excruciating pain. Lily, you make me sick, Joe. When we face each other on TDG, I'm going to make you suffer 1,000 painful deaths for your crimes. You'd better beg for mercy when we face each other. They left the prison. Guard, nice way to show her Lily. Lily, thanks Mac. They went down the hall. Mr. Krabs, hey Lily, I heard from SpongeBob that you made the first ever monster Krabby Patty. Lily, I sure did, Mr. Krabs. Mr. Squarepants said that never before in the history of the Krusty Krab has anyone ever succeeded in making a monster Krabby Patty. And I made the first ever successful monster Krabby Patty. Mr. Krabs, I'm proud of you, lass. Great job. Lily, thanks Mr. Krabs. Maria and Very and some of my friends come to the Krusty Krab for lunch every now and then. It's great having them there. Part 2, meeting our gender-bent twins. In the estate on Earth, we were playing video games and reading books and playing card games. I was playing Go Fish with Linka. Linka, you got any 7s, JD? Me, nope, Go Fish Linka. Linka drew a card. Me, Do you have any 2s? Linka, Yug. Linka gave me 2 of them. Me, thank you. Sydney, when you all were cured, what did you do when you got home? Sydney, that's a good question. Flashback. After Sydney, Nanette, and Sheila were cured, they got dressed in normal clothes and dropped themselves onto their beds at their houses for the first time in so long. While being stuck in the underground city, they lost the feeling of a nice warm bed and the taste of normal food. They cried in sheer happiness and were eternally grateful to us for curing them. Nanette, Sheila and Sydney were in a tri-split screen scene crying on their beds. Nanette, Sheila, and Sydney, in unison, crying, "We have our lives back. Thank you Team Loud Phoenix Storm. Thank you." Flashback ends. Lainey, we saw that when you moved in Sydney. Kate L, yet. The Shredder robbed you of your humanity and we got it back for you all. Lori, that freak was literally the ultimate evil. Sid, he sure was. Me, yet. Linka, do you miss your brothers back in your dimension? Linka, I sure do, JD, and I've forgiven them for what they did. Me, that's good, Linka. No one can stay mad at someone forever. It's not healthy for anyone. Nico, that's right. Mindy put her anger over Colton behind, so why shouldn't anyone else? Me, yep. Computer, alert. Code dimension jump in progress. Me, we haven't had one of those happen in a while. We'll finish our game later, Linka. We went to the computer. Me, triangulating position. The computer showed that the vortex was right over the neighborhood. Me, it's right over our neighborhood. We went outside and we saw a wormhole over the neighborhood right next door to the Fairy Tale Guild castle. When the vortex faded, we saw a magnificent and breathtaking castle that was 1,000 times bigger than any castle over in Europe, and it was majorly articulate. Think of the Alvarez Empire castle from Fairy Tale. Me, wow. What a castle. Lainey, that is the most breathtaking castle I've ever seen. Lori, that castle is literally the most amazing castle anywhere. Lucy H, it looks just like the castle from the Alvarez Empire. Mindy, I remember that castle. That was the coolest castle ever. Me, let's go see. We did so, and when we got close it looked like a massive fortress and it was incredibly beautiful and breathtaking. Lola, wow. What a castle. Lana, I think it would be perfect for anyone. We went in and we saw that it was a magnificent castle and the architecture was magnificent. Me, wow. This is amazing. Lainey, I would love to live in a castle like this. Nico, me too, Lainey. Hey. We turned and we saw the Loud brothers, and with them was a girl with long black hair, and she had wings of pure fire like mine, and she had a fiery sun symbol in the middle of her forehead, and she had a red summer shirt and a red skirt and red sandals, and with her was a boy with aqua green hair and he had blue clothes. We saw gender-bent versions of ourselves. The only ones present weren't Nico's and our newest recruits. Me, what they? Female me, what they? Me and female me, in unison. Why do you look like me? Linka, brothers. Loki, Linka. It's been a while, Squirt. Linka hugged Loki and her brothers for the first time in a long time, ever since we kicked her brothers' butts. Me, how is it that you look so much like me? Female me, isn't it obvious? I'm your female self. Me, wow. It's like I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I'm James Dean Knudsen. But everyone calls me JD. Jamie, that is too coincidental. I'm Jamie Diana Knudsen. Me, oh wow. It's a pleasure to meet you. It's like we're twins. I've always wondered what it would be like to have a twin counterpart. It's like we're twin siblings. Jamie, it sure does feel like that. Me, no kidding. Jamie, yet. Are you the leader of your own team? Me, I sure am. I'm the leader of Team Loud Phoenix Storm. Jamie, that is very coincidental. I'm now the leader of our own team called Team Loud Fairy Wind. She showed me the symbol on her shirt. It was a fairy on a crescent moon over a sun with the name Team Loud Fairy Wind below it. Me, that is really coincidental. So I guess we did leave our mark on your universe. Jamie, in a way you did. Very, that is cool. So you are my male self? Valen, I sure am. My name is Valen and I'm Jaime's fiancé. Very, pleasure to meet you. I'm Very. We introduced ourselves to our opposite sex counterparts and it was awesome to meet them. Jamie, to Maria, so you all formed a group of redeemed supervillains called the Redemption Squad? Maria, yep. If you see a boy whose last name is Rockel and a girl whose last name is Dunbar, make sure to recruit them. Jamie, we will. It's so awesome how you all set so many villains on the right path. Me, yep. We saved them from themselves and made them good and better people. I take it Team Loud Fairy Wind just as well known as Team Loud Phoenix Storm is? Jamie, we sure are. But we haven't been on the same number of adventures you all have. We can't even begin to compare how many adventures we all have took compared to you. Me, we don't like to brag. Jamie, thank you so much for taking care of Linka in your dimension. Me, it was our pleasure Jamie. Linka became a twin sister of Lincoln and they are awesome as twins. In a way we all have become twins now. Jamie, we sure have. Lainey, yet. Larry, was it really rough for you to miss Linka? Larry, it was Lainey. Our family was never the same since Linka was thrown into your dimension. My brothers had to do some hard labor in community service as a result. Lana, at least they didn't get jail time. Leon, yet. But Lily, we look so similar. Lily, I know. Last time I saw you, you were a baby. Leon, I know. It's so awesome. It was so awesome having our opposite sex counterparts with us. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Part 3, Meeting Sid's Parents. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Me, Jamie, Nicole, Nico, Lori, Ronnie Ann, Sid, Lainey, Lincoln and Clyde were heading to Sid's house in the estate grounds. Sid, you guys are gonna love meeting my family. Me, I know Sid. You told us so much about your mom and dad. Clyde, I'm cool with meeting your parents Sid. Me, to the viewers, Clyde finally gave up his crush on Lori and now he and Sid have a budding romance going on. After we met our opposite sex counterparts, Clyde met Sid on one of our bad guy stopping sprees and Cupid's arrows struck them both. It's so awesome. Clyde, I'm glad we have a romance going on JD. Me, I am too buddy. I'm sorry things didn't work out with you and Haiku. Clyde, it's alright JD. But we're still good friends. Me, that's great buddy. Sid opened the door to her house and we went in. Sid, hey guys, I'm home. And I brought friends. Sid's mom Becca came out of the kitchen and on her shoulder was an Indri lemur. Becca, oh hey kiddo. JD. Knudsen and Team Loud Phoenix Storm. It's such an honor and a pleasure to meet you all. I'm Becca Chong. Me, it's a pleasure to meet you. Wow, is that an Indri? Becca, that's right JD. His name is Raga and I'm taking care of him while we rebuild his habitat at the zoo. Lainey, he's really cute. Me, these are also the loudest lemurs in the world. They have a deafening call that can be heard from up to 2 miles away. Lincoln, that is loud. Lori, it sure is. Becca, that's right JD. You sure know a lot about animals. Me, Sid is like a living animal encyclopedia. She showed us a lot of animals. Becca, I'm sure she did. Clyde sat down but then he felt that his chair moving really slowly. Clyde saw that he was sitting on the back of a huge tortoise. Clyde, wow. Me, wow. That's a Galapagos tortoise. We saw one of those when we were at the Galapagos Islands when we were in Ecuador. Becca, yep. That's Tormo. He's our newest addition to the zoo. I'm taking care of him while his habitat is under construction. Me, he sure is cool. Becca, he sure is. I heard from Sid that you all were on an awesome worldwide adventure. Me, we sure were. That was one of the most awesome educational experiences we've ever had. Nicole, I'm a volcanologist and I wanted to show everyone the world's volcanoes. Becca, that's an amazing and very dangerous field of nature science. Nicole, it is. And my heroes were world-famous volcanologists Maurice and Claudia Kraft. They've been to every volcano on the planet except for those down in Antarctica. Becca, that's amazing. We showed Becca a photo album with pictures of our trip and she was amazed at them. Me, here's us in Nome, Alaska. Becca saw the picture of us standing in front of the statue of Lily and Balto. In Lily's hand was a heart and she was holding the flag of Alaska in the other. Lainey, my baby sister Lily saved all of Nome from a terrible disease that was afflicting them. She risked her life and braved the treacherous sub-zero climate of Alaska to save all of Nome and all of Alaska. Becca, that's amazing. Sid, it was so cool that Lily did that. Me, it was. That was one of Lily's bravest deeds. Lincoln showed another photo of us in Hawaii. Lincoln, here's us in Hawaii. I won the Big Kahuna of Hawaii surfing contest there. Sid, oh that is so amazing Lincoln. Clyde, I remember that. That was so awesome. Me, oh yeah. Lincoln's dad taught him how to surf. He was the winner of the Big Kahuna of Hawaii himself a long time ago. We showed Becca our global adventure and it was awesome. Nico, wow. You guys have been all over the world, hey? Me, not just the world Nico. All over the galaxy and all over the universe. Jamie, that is very coincidental. Me, it sure is Jamie. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Part 4, closing down the Dimmadome. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. We were back at the estate. Team Loud Phoenix Storm and Team Loud Fairywind were now one team working together. Me, it was so awesome meeting your mom Sid. Sid, thanks JD. She sure is an amazing parent. Me, she knows so much about the world of animals as much as you do. Sid, that's amazing hey? Then the alarm went off. Me, uh-oh. We went to the computer and we saw that Doug Dimmadome had enslaved the entire city of Dimmsdale and made them all into mindless zombies and built a huge housing development called Dimmadome Acres. We saw that every house in Dimmadome Acres looked exactly the same and the area spanned for miles. Me, whoa. Look at all this guys. Timmy, oh no. Doug Dimmadome is at it again. Me, who is Doug Dimmadome? Timmy, he's a rich business owner. Doug Dimmadome is the major business owner in Dimmsdale. He is sometimes featured as a villain, for example in the episode Moving Day where he tried to control the citizens of Dimmsdale with tainted milk. However, he is not always villainous. The on and off status of his character is referenced in the episode Channel Chasers where he argued with himself about Timmy Turner. Me, he looks more like a corrupt business owner. Nico, but he looks very similar to the rich Texan that we killed over in Springfield on my birthday. Sideshow Bob, British accent, that guy had some very serious problems. Me, he sure does look like him though and he does have that Texas flair on him. Timmy, not only that but he tried this harebrained scheme before. He gave everyone milk laced with a mind control serum that enslaved everyone and made them all mindless zombies. Even Cosmo and Wanda fell victim to it. He even got Mr. Crocker. Me, Mr. Fuckhass himself? You got to be kidding. Timmy, no I'm not JD. Me, what was the antidote for this scheme he did? Timmy, I destroyed his plans with my delicious Mega Fizz juice. Timmy gave me a bottle of the stuff. Me, so this is the stuff. Timmy, yeah. Try some. I did so. I drank the whole bottle and released a massive belch. Me, wow. That is some tasty and awesome stuff. And it's really refreshing. Thanks Timmy. Timmy, you're welcome. Cosmo, all the nutrition of juice and all the fun of fizz. Me, it's very refreshing and nutritious. Lainey, it's tasty stuff. Me, let's head over there and make sure he doesn't do something like this again. Team Loud Phoenix Storm. Jamie, and Team Loud Fairy Wind. Me and Jamie, let's fly. We were off to Dimmsdale. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. We arrived in Dimmsdale and we saw that the situation is worse than what we first saw. We saw a massive milk factory and it was heavily guarded. We were hiding on one of the roofs of the houses outside of the factory. Nico, boy it's heavily guarded. Jamie, how are we gonna get inside? Carmen, I have an idea. Maria? Maria, oh no. Not this again. Carmen carries Maria off of the roof in front of Dimidom's guards. Carmen, get help. Please. My sister's dying. Get help. Help her. As the guards approach them, Carmen throws Maria at them, knocking them down. Maria gets up. Even after nearly a whole year, I still find that ploy humiliating. Me, but at least it worked. Let's go. We went into the factory and bursted in with a massive fiery explosion. A phoenix cry was heard out of the flames and landed in the factory. We then saw Doug Dimmadome. Me, Doug Dimmadome. So we meet at last. Dimmadome, that's right. JD. Knudsen and Team Loud Phoenix Storm. Me, you tried this stupid plan before and it failed big time Dimmadome. Dimmadome, that's right. Me, you're under arrest for your crimes against Dimmsdale. Dimmadome, what did I do? Timmy, you enslaved all of Dimmsdale twice with this mind control milk. Chloe, you tried to turn all our parents into meals after they were turned into chickens. Me, and now you tried this stupid plan again with the mind control milk. Dimmadome, tell ya what. If y'all let me continue my business, I'll let y'all in on a piece of the action. William, not gonna happen. Stewie, hang on. We should think about this. I mean, it's not like he's got a way of harming us physically. And besides, we could salvage some of Dimmadome acres when we're done. William, that's tempting, Stewie. But we don't make deals with criminals. Me, never in a million years. It's time for you to go to jail, Dimmadome. You will have to get past me first. We saw a cloud of darkness appear and it began to take form. The Heartless that appeared before us looked like William's dark Lyoko form with X.A.N.A.SI on the forehead. But it also had a Heartless symbol on the chest. Bullrick, X.A.N.A. Dark Matrix General, Smirksa, Lyoko Warriors. How long has it been? A whole year? To Elida. Hello, Elida. How's your dear daddy, Franz Hopper? Me, XANA. I thought we were done with you for good after we killed you. Dark Matrix General, well now I'm back in you and I have an old score to settle, JD. Knudsen. Me, we shall see, XANA. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Xana was created to counteract and destroy French military project, Carthage, of which its creator, Franz Hopper, was a contributor. Along with Xana, Franz created a virtual world called Lyoko to give Xana access to the real world through its supercomputer. Hopper also created a time reversion program as a byproduct, allowing him to perfect his work and doubling the supercomputer's power along with Xana's upon use. He'd spent almost 7 years on June 6, 1994, and became schizophrenic while Xana's intelligence grew exponentially with each day. Sometime between later reversions, a hole in Xana's programming allowed it to be infected by a virus that broke down its intelligence and caused it to turn evil. Hopper was in the final stages of Lyoko's creation when Xana betrayed him and alerted the Men in Black to his location. Trying to avoid being arrested, Hopper virtualized himself and his daughter, Elida, onto Lyoko. Xana then attacked them and denied any negotiation of peace with Franz. Hopper shut down the supercomputer from Lyoko when Xana turned him down, trapping all three in the supercomputer. The factory, Xana, and Elida were rediscovered by Jeremy Belpoise 10 years after being rendered dormant. Xana launched an attack, undiscovered until after its plans were thwarted for the first time by Jeremy and his friends. The newly dubbed Lyoko warriors made a pact to free Elida from Xana's clutches so the latter could be terminated. Xana's first few strategies are simplistic as he only ever attacks the Lyoko warriors to study the real world. It could only possess inanimate objects or cause electromagnetic interference in the environment. When they finally manage to rematerialize Elida, Xana uses her memories of Earth as a tether to keep them from shutting down the supercomputer until it can escape. Xana's next strategy was to steal Elida's whole memory to gain the keys to Lyoko in her annex code with its latest monster, the Cyphozoa. Ilida's memories of Earth were starting to slip through, and the Lyoko warriors were closer to finding out the origins of Ilida, Franz Hopper, and Zaza. It used their confusion to trick them into thinking Franz had emerged from the recesses of Lyoko, along with almost stealing back his diary and the Lyoko warriors' privatized data. Its last tactic was to trick Jeremy into sending his friends after Ilida's missing memories using a fake transmission hidden in the bowels of the 5th sector's core zone. This trick worked. Zaza gained its freedom, and it had succeeded in finally killing Ilida. Zaza then launched its largest attack ever with the intent of destroying the supercomputer. Although Zaza had escaped, Franz revived Ilida with her real fragment and stopped Zaza's ultimate attack, suppressing Lyoko's towers to prevent Zaza from activating more than one at a time. Zaza had escaped the supercomputer into the world network and duplicated itself onto other supercomputers around the world, planning to use them to create an army of robots. While it still considered the Lyoko warriors a threat, it did not attack them until a prototype upgrade to the super skin alerted it that they were trying to find a way to get into the world network and stop it. In response, Zaza switched tactics, launching attacks with the purpose of killing its enemies once again, along with destroying Lyoko, so that the Lyoko warriors would lose all means of combating it. It would achieve this by attacking the core of Lyoko, but the Lyoko warriors were always capable of traveling to the 5th sector and stopping its destruction. Zaza then prioritized destroying the rest of Lyoko, knowing that it was the only one who knew the transfer protocols to virtualize into the 5th sector. It reformatted the Cyphozoa to implant a virus into Ilida so that it could possess her and have her destroy Lyoko's sectors one by one. Jeremy was formulating the transfer protocols for Sector 5 after realizing Zaza's plan, and succeeded in creating them just after Zaza destroyed the last of the original sectors. At the same time, the group decided to recruit William Dunbar to help fight Zaza and balance the team. One day, while every member of the group was having real-world problems, Zaza attacked the core of Lyoko without activating Lyoko's last tower, pressuring the group to not use a time reversion. This attack forced Ilida to transfer herself and a rookie William to defend the core. However, William's excitement with Lyoko caused him to be separated from Ilida, at which point the Zaza possessed him with the Cyphozoa and had him devirtualize Ilida. William then proceeded to the core to join the monsters who were shooting at it. William's powers allowed him to easily rip through the core's shields, along with the other Lyoko warriors when they caught up with him. With nobody left to defend it, William destroyed Lyoko and was deleted shortly after. However, Zaza used its virus in William to salvage his DNA coding and turn William into its permanent slave. With data sent by Franz Hopper, the Lyoko warriors managed to reconstruct Lyoko. Zaza used this as an opportunity to return William back to reality as a double agent and kidnap Ilida. Realizing that William could still be saved, as well as needing to uncover Zaza's exact plans for the network, Jeremy and Ilida resolved to build a digital submarine to go after Zaza on the network and retrieve William and Franz Hopper's DNA codes. Zaza became less concerned with the Lyoko warriors and realized that Franz Hopper was the reason they kept bouncing back from their defeats. In order to assure their final defeat, Zaza decides to have William try to delete Ilida in order to lure out Franz Hopper, which the warriors figured out after the closest attempt failed. The Lyoko warriors eventually stumble upon the replicas of Lyoko and the supercomputers Zaza uses to run them, resolving to destroy them and isolate Zaza's program in the network. At their fourth outing, Zaza creates a new, gigantic monster called the Colossus, which almost destroys their submarine and forces their retreat. But Zaza also reveals William's DNA code to them in a miscalculated attempt to stop them in the real world. Their next encounter would be mutually assured defeat, as the Colossus destroys their submarine, but the Lyoko warriors manage to retrieve William from Zaza's clutches. Due to Zaza destroying their submarine, Jeremy devised an anti-Zaza program based on Franz Hopper's original design of Zaza, which he used a prototype version of to slow down the Colossus long enough to save William. With the sub destroyed, Jeremy's only remaining option was to enhance the program so that it would be powerful enough to destroy every trace of Zaza in the world. After William was freed from Zaza's control, Franz Hopper sent Jeremy some additional data to improve the anti-Zaza program. prompting Jeremy to bring his friends to Lyoko and protect Franz while the two collaborated on the program. However, William was still anxious to go to Lyoko, so he joined them at the factory, but they ordered him to only come as backup. This would prove to be a bad compromise, as Xana sent his most personable specter to possess William, knowing its destruction was drawing near. The possessed William would go on a rampage in the factory, slowing down Jeremy's progress on the program. Meanwhile, the Colossus threatened Franz Hopper as it dredged closer on Lyoko. Even though the Colossus was taken down, the program didn't have enough power to be launched by Jeremy, so only Yelida could do it from the 5th sector's interface. Upon arriving, she noticed her father under fire and hesitated to launch the program. Xana's monsters finally destroyed Franz Hopper, which forced Yelida's hand. The program was run, causing a series of bubbles to emerge from the core of Lyoko that destroyed Xana's monsters and the Lyoko replicas. Meanwhile, in the real world, the specter that represented Xana the most was ejected from William and writhed in agony before disappearing completely, and assuring that the malevolent program had finally been destroyed. Though Xana had suffered its first and final defeat, the Lyoko warriors were not celebratory with its demise. Yelida and Jeremy were emotionally stirred by Franz Hopper's death, while the other warriors, except William and Yumi, felt that they shouldn't shut down the supercomputer due to its impact on their lives. After deciding that their story must not be told after a classmate discovers Jeremy's diary on the whole venture, the Lyoko warriors resolved to shut down the supercomputer and silently move on with their lives, leaving Xana as a bad memory. However, despite apparently being destroyed, Xana managed to survive in 2 separate continuities, indicating that the program managed to escape total destruction from the multi-agent system. In the first continuity, the live-action series code Lyoko Evolution, Xana managed to infiltrate a virtual world known as the Cortex. As the Cortex was not registered as one of the program's replicas, in addition to having a powerful firewall capable of destroying programs meant to cause direct harm to its functions, the multi-agent program was unable to destroy the remaining traces of Xana. However, the process had left Xana severely weakened and trapped in the Cortex. Unlike Lyoko, the Cortex had much more protective coding, making it near impossible for Xana to fully take control of it. However, Xana had a backup plan. Just before its initial defeat, it had split a copy of its source code into 4 and integrated it into the Lyoko warriors' Sens William and Jeremy without their knowledge, and rendered said codes dormant so as to avoid detection. After 6 months, Xana activated the codes and lured the Lyoko warriors into reactivating the supercomputer, giving it the means to sustain attacks via its polymorphic specters, altered so that physical contact with the heroes would drain the source codes from them, increasing Xana's strength so that it could break out of the Cortex. Unfortunately for Xana, the program was unable to launch large-scale attacks due to needing the warriors alive, and the interference from Professor Tyrone, the man who created the Cortex, limited Xana's activity. The Lyoko warriors eventually uploaded a virus into the Cortex, which threatened to delete Xana once and for all. Tyrone had his supercomputer shut down so as to program in an antivirus to stop this. At this time, Xana had retrieved 95% of its source codes, and, like the Cortex, was rendered dormant, meaning that once Tyrone succeeded in programming it the antivirus, Xana would be free once again. Due to the series not being renewed, however, Xana remained down, but not out. In the second continuity, a novel series known as Code Lyoko Chronicles, Xana was defeated at an earlier point in time. Xana's attempt at obtaining the keys to Lyoko ended in failure, as Franz Hopper managed to reveal himself earlier, and gave the Lyoko warriors the means to power up a different version of the anti-Xana program, which merely ejected and separated Xana from Lyoko. The process still weakened Xana immensely, leaving it to drift in the world network without the means to empower itself. Desperate and without memories, Xana eventually created a file housing its programming, looking for a vessel that would be best suited for infiltrating Kadak and killing its enemies once and for all. Choosing a girl known as Eva Skinner, Xana began to settle into its new circumstances, and learned of the Lyoko warriors researching the history of the supercomputer. Seeing a chance to gain its strength back, Zaza befriended the group but planned on destroying them from the inside out. Seducing Odd, Zaza managed to brainwash the boy, laying the groundwork for its return. Zaza, however, would later learn from Hopper's archives, a shocking truth, that he had been made with altruistic purposes in mind, and had been corrupted by leftover coding from a Dark Zone program that had been inserted Project Carthage, whose templates Lyoko had been created from. Zaza would thus ally itself permanently with humanity, helping the Lyoko warriors to defeat a terrorist group that was hoping to use Lyoko as a substitute for Carthage. While Zaza seemingly sacrificed itself to upload a self-destruction program that would delete Lyoko for good, his programming was salvaged by the Lyoko warriors, who managed to recreate Zaza and bring him into the real world as a human. It should be noted that neither of the above continuities are completely canon, as evolution was disowned by the original showrunners, who confirmed that only a few of their ideas made it into evolution and that the events within were not canon. Similarly, while the novels were written with the original documents in hand, not all of their events are noted to be canon either. Whichever is the case, it can be safely confirmed that while Zaza suffered a crippling blow at the end of Code Lyoko, the program found a way to survive regardless. *****. Dark Matrix General avoids fire blast from William's blaster. You know, William. I'm almost proud of you for becoming a leader after you betrayed me. To Maria, and you must be his girlfriend. I'll deal with you once I finish with my former servant. Me, you'll have to get through me first XANA. And just for the record, I'm not the same as I was back when I fought you back then. I've gotten far more powerful since then. Dark Matrix General, how so? I was enveloped in a massive vortex of pure fire and it turned into a powerful phoenix and completely destroyed the entire factory and blew all of Dimmadome Acres away. When the phoenix faded, I was now in my Super Eben U30,000 Phoenix Fire form. Me, this is how. I far surpassed you and all the villains we killed in strength and power. Let's dance XANA. We went at each other and I punched the Dark Matrix General in the face and sent him crashing into the wall of the rebel. Then the Dark Matrix General unsheathed its sword and I did the same and we clashed our swords extremely ferociously. Our swords were clashing with such extreme force and ferocity that it was unbelievable, and sparks and embers were flying all over the place and setting all of the rebel of Dimmadome Acres on fire, and it all turned into an epic and ferocious conflagration of incredible power. We stopped and stared at each other with incredible hatred directed at each other. Dark Matrix General, I hate you more than life itself, JD. My aura flared up with incredible power. Me, yeah, fuck you too. I kicked the Dark Matrix General in the stomach and sent him crashing through another wall. Maria then swooped in and punched the Dark Matrix General in the face, and she kneed his back with devastating force and brutally punched him and kicked him all over the place with indiscriminate fury. Edzilla then appeared. Edzilla, Ed Smash Puny Virus. Headbutts Dark Matrix General. How? Edzilla smashed the Dark Matrix General with extreme savagery and ferociousness. Jeremy, Dulric, Yumi, Odd, Elida and William then stood ready with me. Edzilla pins down the Dark Matrix General with his foot. Dark Matrix General groans in pain. What have I done to deserve this? Elida, tears in her eyes, you caused my father's death. And you committed so many crimes in France and even possessed several of our friends in Kadak. Jeremy, including me. Dark Matrix General, oh yes. Now I remember. Me, not only that, but you tried to kill the Lyoko warriors on several occasions and you tried to kill thousands of innocent people. Odd, now you will die. Edzilla threw the Dark Matrix General into the air and Jeremy fired a massive laser blast from his wrist laser. The blasts hit the Dark Matrix General and they exploded. Yumi and Ulrich unsheathed their elemental swords and they were surging with lightning and wind, and they slashed the Dark Matrix General and the wounds on it exploded with extreme power. Crab. Elida spread her wings and flew up to the Dark Matrix General. Elida, this is for my father, you motherfucking bastard. Elida fired a tremendous number of blasts of fire from her wings and the blasts hit the Dark Matrix General and exploded with incredible power. Crab Odd fired laser blasts from his wrist guns and they hit the Dark Matrix General. William fired a massive blast of lightning from his blaster and it electrocuted the Dark Matrix General. Me. Time to finish you off for good XANA. This is our world and you are not welcome here. Jeremy, let's get him. Matrix Blast Storm. Jeremy fired a powerful blast of green energy from his wrist blaster. It hit the Dark Matrix General and exploded with incredible power. Crab Elida, you will pay for your crimes XANA. Lyoko Death Ray. Energy from the towers in Lyoko formed all over the area and they channeled their energy into Elida and she fired a powerful blast of energy at the Dark Matrix General and it hit him and exploded with incredible power. Crab Me. You will never harm our planets ever again XANA. I don't know what Franz Hopper was thinking when he created you. But he should have pulled the plug on you ages ago. You are one of the worst mistakes ever created in all of cyber technology. Nico, XANA you have failed this universe. Me, and now to finish you off for good. Cups hands to side. KAAAAAAA. Me. Hey AAAAAAAA. Me. The Lyoko warriors had balls of energy that had the codes of the Matrix ready to fire. Me. This is for all the pain and suffering you've caused XANA. Me and the Lyoko warriors. Matrix Force Kamehameha. The Lyoko warriors fired green blasts of energy and they converged on a focused point and I fired a massive Kamehameha wave and the blasts combined and turned into a massive green energy wave of unimaginable power and it slammed into the Dark Matrix General and enveloped it and sent it high into the sky where it exploded with incredible power. Crab. X.A.N.A.'s evil spirit was sent into the river of fire and we will never see it ever again. Me. Go back to hell and stay there. Jeremy. To the viewers. It was so cool using a final smash. Me. It sure was Jeremy. Well done. Elida. We did it for you daddy. You can now finally rest in peace. Elida then broke down crying hard and Jeremy comforted her. Me. Jeremy. You take care of Elida and help her out. We're going after Dimmadome next. Jeremy. Okay JD. We went after Dimmadome next. Edzilla. To Dimmadome cowboy dance for Ed. Or Ed will smash. Dimmadome. Hey. I'm not gonna. Edzilla. Cowboy dance for Ed. Roars at him. Eddie. Aims blaster at Dimmadome you heard him. Cowboy. Dance for Ed. Eddie fired his blaster at his feet and he danced like a dumb square dancer. Nico. Doug Dimmadome. You have failed this city and you have failed at square dancing. Me. Let's take him down guys. Drill bomb. I fired Drill Man's drill bomb and it hit the ground by his feet and exploded into a massive fiery cloud and it sent Doug Dimmadome crashing into a giant vat of his milk. Crash. Nico. I'm gonna slice you to ribbons Dimmadome. Rolling cutter. Nico fired Cut Man's rolling cutter and it sliced through the milk container and destroyed it. Nico. Oh that is so awesome. May. It sure is. Me. Let's see what the powers of the robots can do when enhanced with Cyber Planet keys. I'll start with Ring Man. Ring Boomerang. Velocitron Cyber Key Power. The Velocitron Cyber Planet key went into my device on my left arm and it enhanced Ring Man's Ring Boomerang and enabled it to grow to huge size. I held up my hand and a huge ring the size of a car formed over my hand and I threw it and it slammed into Dimmadome's face with incredible force and it knocked out his teeth. Nico. Oh that was so awesome. Dive Man you want to help me with a combo? Dive Man. You know it Nico. Earth Cyber Key Power. The Earth cyber planet key went into his arm and it enhanced his torpedoes and his dive missiles tenfold, and it gave him the ability to become a submarine capable of firing lasers and missiles and move at 75 miles per hour. Nico, time for some awesome action. Dive missile. Earth cyber key power. The Earth cyber planet key went into Nico's device and it enhanced the dive missiles tenfold. Nico and Dive Man. Homing torpedo barrage. Nico and Dive Man fired huge torpedoes and they hit Doug Dimmadome and exploded with incredible power. Me, that was awesome. Let's see how Pharaoh Man does it. Pharaoh shot. Giganteon cyber key power. The Giganteon cyber planet key went into my device and I held up my hand and a huge ball of solar fire appeared in my hand. The ball of solar fire was as big as a whole car and it looked like I was holding the sun itself in my hand. Lori, wow. Look at that huge ball of fire. Jamie, it's like JD is holding the sun in his hands. Sid, oh that is awesome. I saw the huge ball of solar fire and I was amazed. Me, wow. It's like I'm holding the sun in my hand. Nico, it sure does look that way. That is so awesome. Me, it sure is. I threw the ball of solar fire at Dimmadome and it hit by him and exploded into a massive explosion of pure fire. The explosion was so powerful that it looked like someone detonated 400 tons of napalm all at once. Yuko and Lola absorbed all the fire in the area. Me, wow. What power. Nico, that was intense. Me, it sure was. I think Pharaoh Man was easily the strongest of the robot masters we faced. That was an amazing demonstration. Now we know we can utilize the weapons and powers of the robots once under Dr. Wily's control and enhance them with the cyber planet keys. Let's finish him with our combos. Dive Man, roger that JD. Shrapnel, let's get him. Cyber key power. The Decepticon cyber planet key went into his back and it enhanced his lightning abilities 100-fold. Dive Man and Shrapnel, lightning torpedo onslaught. Dive Man fired dive missiles and Shrapnel fired a powerful blast of lightning and the lightning merged with his torpedoes and they hit Dimmadome and exploded and electrocuted him. Crab. Ice. DC. Scandinavian accent. Let's show this Claude some teamwork. Earth cyber key power. The Earth cyber planet key went into her device and it enhanced her ice powers 100-fold. G1 Bumblebee, let's get him. Cyber key power. The Earth cyber planet key went into his back bumper and it enhanced his abilities and gave him the ability to fire a powerful laser cannon that pops out of his back in car mode and it became a separate blaster in robot mode. Ice and G1 Bumblebee, Absolute Zero Laser Storm. Ice fired a massive blast of ice energy and it had a temperature of -459.67 Fahrenheit or absolute zero, and Bumblebee fired a laser blast and the blasts combined and they froze Dimmadome in a big block of ice. Me, you are going to spend the rest of your life in prison, Dimmadome. JD2, JD. I sense 4 more Shen Gongwu. They are in the basement of this factory. Me, which ones are they? JD2. One is called the Reversing Mirror, the second one is the Hotoku Mouse, the third one is the Ring of the 9 Dragons, and the last one is Glove of Jisaku. Me, the Unwind Mouse, the Glove of Work, the Ring of the 9 Dragons and the Reversing Mirror. Interesting. What do these Wu do? JD2, the Reversing Mirror has the power to reverse the powers of other Shen Gongwu, the Hotoku Mouse has the power to fix any mistake. The Glove of Jisaku allows the user to attract any object including other Shen Gongwu like a magnet, and the Ring of the 9 Dragons divides the user into 9 entities with their own personality. Me, that's incredible. Show me where they are. The E symbol in the middle of my forehead glowed red and fired 4 laser beams that directed me to them, and I found them in the basement behind some barrels full of milk. The reversing mirror resembles to a structure like mirror-size rectangular like light bulb. It had the yin-yang symbol in the middle. The glove of Jisako resembled a brown oven mitt when not in use but sprouted out red magnet bars when activated. The Hotokun mouse, like its namesake, was in the shape of a mouse. It was gold and bronze with ruby eyes. It had a golden-rod tail. The outer ring shell was black, taking the shape of a dragon's back. The core of the ring had golden lining. It had a golden gem embedded at the top. There they are. I picked them up and put them in a bag I always carry with me. We restored all the damage that was dealt to Dimmsdale and we sent Doug Dimmadome into the Uranus prison. He was sentenced to 572 years in prison and was ordered to pay $9,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 in restitution. During the whole battle, Nico caught a Celio in a huntail. We went back to the estate and it was grand victory for us. The end. ******. Another fanfiction complete. Joe is a major league jerk and is the worst ever jerk in all of the history of total drama. She doesn't care about anyone but herself, so we decided to have Lily and Mr. Krabs rub it in her face. Also, I wanted to have our gender-bent selves move in with us because I figured it would add some excitement. It would be cool having twins of ourselves as siblings. I figured we could also meet Sid's parents as well. Becca is voiced by Melissa Joan Hart, who I've known on Nickelodeon for a really long time, and she did a great job on Clarissa Explains It All and Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and she was awesome. The last part of this chapter is where we faced Doug Dimmadome from the Fairly Odd Parents. He reminded me of the rich Texan from The Simpsons. Nico-chan 11 gave me the ideas for this one. Let me know what you all think. See you all next time.